Hello NTV, welcome to my crib. I've just been making a new deck. In the last few posts I had said that I had gotten a new commander card that I wanted to make a deck out of, which is Black Panther Wakandan King. It says on card, legendary creature, human noble hero. First strike, survey the realm. Whenever Black Panther or another creature you control enters, another creature enters you control, put a 1/1 counter on target land you control. Mind Vibranium for 3 cost. Move all +1/+1 counters from land onto target creature. If one or more +1/+1 counters are moved this way, you gain that much life and draw a card. Now, this is personally, I don't know what most people say about Black Panther, about this kind of card, but I've had friends who I play with sometimes saying that maybe it's the worst out of the Marvel Secret Lair, like the first one. Regardless on how you feel about the commanders, I wanted to talk about or explain the commander format for anybody who doesn't really know what it is or doesn't really play Magic, because I'm also new to Magic, and I'll probably break it down as easy as it is. For deck building, you can only have 100 cards. You cannot repeat cards, and that's about it for the rules of deck building. Within the game, you start with 40 life. You can cast your commander at any time, except for when it dies, you have to pay an extra 2, which is called command cost. Whenever someone deals enough commander damage, which is 21 points of combat damage by a commander, that player loses the game. So, with that out of the way, let's go about how I usually would build a deck for, commanders and things such as. So let's use the one I'm building right now as a template. As I read to you earlier, this has to do with +1/+1 counters, and I have another deck that mostly does +1/+1 counters. That would be Hakabal, the Surging Soul. Of the Surging Soul. So I'm kind of familiar with +1/+1 stuff. Use any cards you want to. If you're not playing competitively, just use whatever you want. That's how me and my friends play it. But most of the cards I have are from 3 main sets, kind of 4. That would be Aether Drift, Duskmourn, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and Tarkir Dragonstorm. And using that, I built a deck. With it, I went over all of the cards I could use, which were mana-less cards. So ones that don't cost a certain color mana, and then green and white cards in general, also the lands. Through all those, I separated them by colors, and then I separated the instant sorceries, enchantments, artifacts, and then creatures. Then after that, I would see which ones I wanted to use from each pile, combine the red and white piles, put them together, then kind of crack down to 100 cards to see how much I wanted to use or would be good for me. Also, more props if you know who you're playing with. Whenever I'm building this, I'm kind of mentally trying to go up against some of the decks my friends have, because they've been playing a lot longer than I have. They basically steamroll me, just beat the shit out of me, no matter what. So, regardless, I have kind of built this in a way to not counter, but survivability against this. So how I basically did Black Panther's one was I wanted to, make more +1/+1 counters on my stuff. So, of course, I wanted to put a little bit more land than you should in a commander deck into this. So, the recommended amount is 40. I have 50. And then everything else is, well, creatures, instant sorceries. It's mostly creatures, because that's how you get +1/+1 counters. But depending on what your deck is building off of, you could have completely different, like, amounts of lands. But because of it being a green deck, as well as the commander needing lands and creatures, I base it off of that. For, I guess, if you need recommendations for what to buy for, maybe protecting your cards, I always just use Dragon Sleeves. They're my most used one. In 3 of my decks I use them. I still have my magenta ones, my gray ones, and my apple green ones are down there. But, and then obviously, go to any card store and buy, like, just a box. No matter what, it'll most likely fit every, There's that, that's basically all you need. You also, if it's a token or a, like creature tokens, maps, food, 1/1 something like insects or birds or stuff like that, you will want a lot of those bird cards and stuff. So there is this thing that people would call mana weaving, where you just, from what I know, is you separate your lands and everything else, and for every 2 cards you would put a land, and then repeat until your deck is fully full. I don't know how people feel about that. Me and my friends do it, especially with some things that are not, like some decks that are not like guaranteed lands, like if you have too small of them. That's basically it. See ya.